Welcome back to Beyond Packaging, where we break down the forces shaping packaging, products, and everything in between. I'm Laura Foti.
You gotta tell me, I think I'm still a co-host.
And we have Matthew Wright. But it's important that I say Wright today because we're joined by another amazing Matt Daum. Matt, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks. Really happy to be here.
We're so excited to have Matt. For those of you who don't know him, which I can't imagine you don't know Matt, Matt Daum currently serves as the Dean and Associate Provost for the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources at Michigan State University. He originally came to MSU in January 2020 as the Director of the School of Packaging. Before MSU, he was with HP for over 25 years, starting as a packaging engineer and moved into global executive management roles. In addition, Matt has served as an adjunct professor at Clemson University, served on the industry advisory board at Boise State University College of Engineering, and chaired the global board of directors for the International Safe Transit Association. He's also the co-founder and co-owner of Daksha Packaging Group, which matches law firms with packaging expert witnesses. He is also an independent board director for a privately held packaging company. Matt, I don't know what you do with your free time. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. Well, I have definitely time for this. So thanks for inviting me back. It's been a few months, but happy to be back and chat with you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And, we really wanted to have you back for a variety of reasons. The first is you have an exciting role change at MSU. So would love to kick it off by talking about your new role and everything you accomplished while the director of the School of Packaging.
Yeah, thanks. My whole career has been a little bit unexpected. I mean, I have a packaging degree from Michigan State and went to HP as a packaging engineer. And then, like you said in the intro there, did that for a while and then got into management. And so that was a interesting path. HP is, I guess, similar to GE in the sense that once you go into that management path, you basically become a professional leader and you learn how to lead and manage all kinds of different functions. And so that's what I did throughout my career. And then having been at HP for quite a while, wasn't really looking to leave HP, but an interesting opportunity came up at Michigan State to be director for the School of Packaging. The timing was right, and the challenge was interesting. So those two things kind of came together at the same time, and so I made a career change. And phenomenal alumni and great support for doing some really cool things at the school. We renovated the building. We've added new equipment for research. We now have the only endowed chair position for faculty in the sustainability area. Great partnerships with Specright and several other companies. And so that, I think, caught the attention for the college. And that led to being asked to be an interim dean in the college. And essentially what I was asked to do is, hey, can you do for the rest of the college what you've been able to do for the School of Packaging? And I was like, I'll certainly try. And so here we are, a little bit a year removed from that, and have been formally named the Associate Provost and the Dean for the college, which basically means I oversee all the academic units, all 12 academic units. Packaging is one of those 12. And then I also oversee what we call AgBio research portfolio, which is all the research associated with agriculture and natural resources, and the extension organization, which serves communities in every county in Michigan. It basically takes the research that's done at the university and then tries to apply that into communities. So what's happening in my career here at MSU seems in parallel to what happened at HP, which is you have a certain skill set and then you find that you can apply that skill set into many different types of roles, which, by the way, I would say is very common within packaging, because the packaging degree does give you a lot of those foundational skills that work out really well in lots of different jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew, jump in here.
Yeah, no, I got a bunch to jump in there. First of all, it's just amazing watching you, Matt, work through, your new role. I didn't know you at HP, but certainly got to know you over the last couple of years. And I sit on academic boards, and to me, that's a lot of challenge because it just runs at a different pitch and pace than business. But really phenomenal coming in, obviously a successful commercial career into, a very established academia program, and not just, performed, but excelled, right? And excelled in a pretty short period of time in the world of academia. And so, tremendous kudos. I know what it's like to work with you in a lot of different angles and aspects. So it makes sense, but that's not always seen and not always taken advantage of. So I'm really glad the leadership at MSU saw, what a skill set you bring to the table, and really making a great program, in packaging, but then doing it in a broader scale. So exciting to be watching, and exciting to be part of your journey here. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and to me, this is really a reflection of a trend that Matthew and I have talked a lot about on this show, which is the elevation of packaging in an organization. And this, in a way, feels like the elevation of packaging within academia. You mentioned there's 12 different departments, packaging being one of them. But like you said, I think the skills and the importance of packaging, I'm glad we're seeing it rise not only in the corporate world, but in the academic world as well. So it's awesome to see that, Matt. Speaking of packaging, you've seen a lot of trends in the industry, and certainly many come and go. We're at this, pivotal juncture right now with things like sustainability, artificial intelligence. What excites you right now?
Yeah, I think in the sustainability area, for a long time, packaging was ahead of the game in the sense of optimization, right? And a lot of the logistics savings, and how do you make packaging product more robust, and then you can reduce your packaging and save on logistics, and I think that's going to continue. And I've always found that to be an exciting area, because there's still a lot of opportunity for companies to realize that if you look across the whole value chain and you make a change in one area, you can have massive impact in another area. So that actually still excites me, because I think there's still a lot of opportunity for companies to do that. For example, you may spend an extra penny or two on your procurement costs, but that might save you, $1 on your logistics costs. So you've really got to think across the value chain. But I think a couple of other areas that are have emerged, will continue to emerge and grow. Everyone talks about AI, but I'm seeing some companies now that really are integrating AI into their workflows. I'm thinking of software and artwork workflows in particular. I know it's a little nascent right now, but that is exciting, because I think that trend will continue, and that will actually that'll make a big difference. I see AI being applied in recycling systems, and I think that's going to catch on. There's still a lot of infrastructure needs that have to be built out in municipalities across the U.S. But I think the integration of AI is going to help in a lot of ways there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just a couple of other quick things.
Yeah.
Another is a lot of these cross-sector partnerships. So you're starting to see companies partner more with universities, with NGOs, with government bodies. That, I think, is the only way that we're going to solve some of these really complex value chain situations, especially with packaging waste, end of life. And then I think the final thing, at least from an academic point of view, we are starting to see a lot more interest and funding from the federal government in this packaging space, whether it's recycling technologies or new material technologies. That is different. I'm seeing that as different than in the past, and that's a good thing.
That's amazing. I mean, there's also a tremendous amount of global forces today. Certainly many geopolitical shifts, climate change impacting suppliers. I think tariffs has been a big one. Many of the customers we work with, some of which purchase a lot of packaging out of China, have had to rethink, their packaging sourcing strategy. How do you think and prepare students for some of these things that really, can't really be taught in the classroom, but you have to prepare them for these different scenarios in the real world?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's not an easy question. You have to have faculty that are willing to be engaged externally, right? It cannot be a simple academic exercise and keep teaching the same thing over and over. You really have to. So it starts with the faculty and helping, hire faculty that come in with a mindset that they're open to collaborating, learning, growing. They need to be involved with industry groups, trade groups, NGOs. They need to be talking with legislators and so forth, learning and educating. Then what we do is we try to, at a curriculum level, make sure that those kind of perspectives are woven into the curriculum. We teach from a value chain perspective at MSU. So we don't, I like to say that we're material neutral. There's always trade-offs. There's never like a solution. There's always trade-offs. So you have to teach students to think about the pros and the cons and all the different angles. So we do a lot of life cycle analysis in the curriculum, and then you try to balance these concepts of functionality, the cost, what the impact is on the environment, and so forth. And then probably the last thing is it's the whole problem solving. How do you teach students how to think, right? And how to set up what you know and what you don't know, and then the different methodologies for figuring out how to find solutions. Easier said than done. And some, but that's what we're aiming to do in the curriculum with faculty who are involved day to day with what's going on externally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one of the things that I've seen when we work with customers is the need for packaging talent that has data expertise. And so that's where I've been really passionate about working with you all and many universities to bring Specright into the classroom, because I think entry-level packaging engineers have an opportunity to really step up and drive more change in their companies. There's lots of things like EPR reporting that is all data-driven. And it's really exciting to kind of give them these tools in a university background where then they can go into a company and have that be, something in their resume that differentiates them and allows them to get to work from day one. So we're just grateful for your partnership.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We talk a lot within MSU about workforce readiness from the president on down. How are we ensuring students are workforce ready? And one of the critical components in our curriculum is the Specright software integration into the curriculum, hands-on learning from the students. We want to teach them on tools that they're going to be using when they go into industry. And so the software partnership that we have, every student gets exposure and use of Specright software. I'll mention the Triac software as well, which integrates in. And so again, it demonstrates that you got to have this external partnership to make sure that you're staying in tune and on top of what's happening in industry. So when students come out, they're able to contribute more readily, and you're not having to spend more time trying to train them up for what they need to do in your company.
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit too, Matt. And I think, what an amazing career for a packaging engineer to come out of school today. I mean, both from what we started the whole conversation on, which is the rise of the elevation of the importance of packaging within corporations, within municipalities, the government. I mean, everybody's now talking about packaging. I think you and I both remember early in our careers, nobody knew what packaging was. Today, it's kind of front and center discussion points. And then layering on that, what you just shared, Laura, which is their ability to use these data tools, whether it's AI, obviously, or others. And so the conversion of all that coming together, I think it's going to be a lot of jobs right now are kind of trying to figure out what they're going to be in the future. I think this is an area that's just really identified to be a strong, hiring area, a high opportunity to escalate and come through the companies or do your own thing or be innovative. So yeah, I'm, as you know, Matt, super bullish on this packaging space for the next generation.
Yeah.
Yes. It's really amazing because when I entered the industry 7 years ago, which not as long as both of you, I would talk to entry-level packaging.
It was like 8 years. So.
I'm just saying you guys have even more of a perspective. But even 7 years ago, when I would talk to entry-level packaging engineers and I asked them what their day-to-day was like, a common response was, I'm chasing data, I'm managing an Excel spreadsheet, I'm asking suppliers for information. But they had this desire to do different things. They're like, I understand that this is the quote unquote entry level job, but what I want to be doing is designing more innovative packaging. I want to be working on optimizing for logistics. They wanted to work on the business outcomes of packaging and not like the manual specification part of things. And that's been an exciting shift, and where we've tried to really enable engineers is less time chasing the data, standardizing the data, more time analyzing it, taking action, developing new packaging. And it's just really exciting. I do feel like we've come a long way. There's certainly more work to do, but it does feel like there's been this shift in terms of what an entry-level person's being asked to do.
I could not agree more. And I think that shift is what we're, from a university point of view, trying to keep up with. Things are moving so quickly. Technology is enabling so many new things, and that's why, from an academic point of view, it comes back to what are the critical skills that we need to teach that are then transferable. I mean, think about it. The students that graduate now, they're going to have their careers until what, 2070 or something like that. So how do you teach? Today it's AI. 5 years from now, it's going to be something else. But you still got to have that underlying thinking patterns, critical skills that are going to serve well no matter what the technologies are. If you don't mind, I'll give you just a quick example. So this was many years ago, fairly early in my career, where we were trying to figure out how do we lower overall costs for new products going to market. And we had this concept that toner cartridge and a printer, they usually are two separate things in the box. And so the box then is big. And we were like, well, why don't we put the toner cartridge in the printer and ship it that way and reduce the package by 30%. And the accountants, they got a hold of this idea and they're like, can you really do that? I mean, that would totally make this thing in a different profit category for the product. Well, a lot of technical challenges, and but there was the business case that drove it. It would have really been nice if we would have had the data structures and the data software and the management of that to make that easy to do. We had to do it all by hand and spreadsheets and different pieces of data. We ended up doing it, but you can imagine the effectiveness today if you were able to see all your specs and all of that is connected and then being able to work together in an ecosystem. But that's the higher value add that you're trying to get to, right? You're trying to get people to think about these integrated problems that you can find solutions, and then all the other technical and data management and movement is kind of underneath that, and it's not friction. It actually enables the speed in which you then implement those solutions. So
Absolutely.
that's to me, that's the framework of what I want to teach students of how to think and how to solve problems.
I know it's exciting times, and I know this kind of fits in, and I know we're trying to wrap up here in a minute, but in a couple of minutes, anything you want to share about kind of what we're working on at the packaging school going forward?
This is we're on the cusp, I think, of another golden age for the School of Packaging, if I can brag on the school just a little bit. So just 2 years ago, we finished the renovation. Now we're poised to break ground on what we're calling a phase 2. So that should happen next summer. Basically, we're doubling the size of our building, and we're really focusing in on space to do research in the sustainability area, new materials, coatings, recycling technologies. We want to be the global hub, the place that you think of when you think of packaging excellence, both the teaching and the research. And so we have an active campaign right now to raise the dollars for that. We do have enough raised initially to put a shovel in the ground next summer and get that started. Super excited about that. We have just launched a new online master's program. It's in conjunction with the business college. So MSU has the #1 ranked supply chain program. You have the #1 packaging program. You can combine those now, and you can get a leadership degree so that it's about business leadership of packaging sustainability. So you can have an emphasis in the business side or the supply chain side, or if you want to go all in on just the packaging sustainability technical, we've got that option. It's all online, asynchronous, so it's built for working professionals. And then one last thing I'll mention too is first of its kind. It's called an IUCRC. This is an industry university consortium, and it's funded by the National Science Foundation. School of Packaging here at Michigan State, first one to get one of these, and it brings together multiple companies to do pre-competitive IP work so that you're building new fundamental technologies that can then hopefully scale for industry, but it's done in partnership, not just with Michigan State, but with many, many other universities. And so we have a professor who is leading that new platform at Michigan State. We're very excited about that. We think that can be a potential game changer for the industry. So new education opportunities, new building and research facilities, and then this new partnership center for research with industry. Those three things really, I hope, set apart Michigan State for years to come.
That's amazing. I mean, congratulations, Matt. Exciting initiatives. I think a lot of listeners would maybe be interested in that master's degree. How can they learn more about that program in particular?
Yeah, just Google MSU School of Packaging online master's. It's technically called MS Leadership for Professionals. But if you just Google MSU School of Packaging, you'll find it there online and get enrolled. We're going to start taking new students in the fall here next month in August.
Awesome. Amazing work, Matt. As we close out, I just want to thank you for joining us. We know how busy you are. Congrats on all your accomplishments at MSU. We're so grateful to work with the entire MSU team. And now off to another segment with Matt Dingy, for Beyond the Shelf. Thanks, Matt. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt.
You bet. Thank you.
Awesome. We're excited for our next segment. We're going off the shelf with Matt Dingy. Matt, what do you have for us today?
So today I am picking up, I'm going to try to show you the full package, microwavable coffee bags from 1986.
Wow.
And I'll try to show you a panel here of helpful hints. And this is the back kind of instructions. And then here is a pouch, the inner pouch. So there's 20 inner pouches. There is the price tag on it. You get 20 for $3.59.
I'm going back, whatever that era that was.
And the very odd part to me that caught me off guard here is this pouch does not get opened. It actually gets placed into the mug, and you probably couldn't see on the instructions. It's placed into the mug, or at least directed to be placed directly in the mug, filled with water, and then heated in the microwave. Yep. And then they're very specific about dunking this after you've microwaved it.
It's like a tea bag.
So the package is the filter.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So I just was thinking, taking a trip back in the 80s to the decade I was born, and trying to understand that we didn't have Keurig. We didn't have, you had coffee pots. And so using the microwave and using the packaging that way, I just thought that was obviously it hasn't maintained itself, but I think the idea of trying to get the package and the microwave involved, at least to me, kind of stood out.
Yeah, no, coffee back then was watered down, truck stop diner coffee. Would not be in comparison to any coffee that Laura understands today. Laura doesn't let me go to any coffee shops because I embarrass her, but that's because I grew up on that kind of coffee that you just showed.
It's true. I love coffee. It's funny you say that, Matt, because when I lived in Argentina, I remember they use a lot of the Nespresso, but the grounds that you put them in and you put hot water and you stir it. It's like instant coffee. And I remember being like, because it was so foreign, because the delivery mechanism in the United States, like you're not doing a lot of that. It's similar to the It's amazing how, to your point, coffee, you would think coffee's coffee. It has evolved so much.
But it's funny. Instant coffee was the worst coffee back then. Now instant coffee is not again, right? So it's always what we talk about, kind of this ebb and flow of product. What's the material, Matt? I couldn't really tell on the pouch, just roughly.
It's kind of hard to tell, but it kind of has the feel of maybe a polyester.
That's what I'm saying. Is it more like a material, more like poly, more like fiber?
It's not fiber like it. It appears like a film. I mean, it has the texture and the feel of a film. Yeah,
we won't get into whether we want hot products in film. That we didn't know a lot back in the 80s, apparently. So interesting.
That stuff's coming back, though. I mean, I went to Starbucks in West Hollywood, Matt, and just in West Hollywood, I had like a paper cup for my iced beverage and my hot tea, like a paper cup and paper lid. And they told me that they're not allowed to use plastic anymore in that specific store. And so
Quite
like
a city limit.
it's like a city limit. So it's like we're seeing so much of this innovation. One other thing, because you made a comment on, I think as product and packaging people, like we can't dismiss certain form factors. Like you said, instant coffee used to be, not considered high class. Now you have Nespresso. It's considered like luxury instant coffee in a way, right? And I think it's funny. I was thinking about this. The most important thing Nespresso did when they launched, what do you think it was?
I don't know. Made it look like regular coffee.
They hired George Clooney as their spokesperson.
That'll win every
like who else?
Every campaign.
No, but you instantly a brand.
Yeah.
Branding is all about associations.
Looks cool.
And so the packaging of an espresso, very premium, right? And like, who are you picking as the spokesperson? Like, they created a set of associations. I wonder for this product, I wonder what the associations were back then. What do you think it was focused on?
Ease of use, fast. Probably the world was getting faster. You didn't have the coffee sit in the office maybe as much. So probably just, the person on the go is my guess. So Matt, you've done an amazing job. We did tooth powder. We've done liquid detergent. Now we did this. And so always excited and surprising. So can't wait till next week.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.